How can you relate volume and temperature in real-life situation? Charles' law is responsible for the inflated tubes protruding out from the tire when it is left stranded in a hot summer days. So that severe heat outside steadily flows into the tube and gradually causes the tire to expand. And during cold days, what happens? Okay, during cold days wherein the temperature in the environment is lower, the tire gets deflated. Hello my dear students! Welcome back again with another vlog. This is me, Teacher Tin, your science teacher for today. So kung bago ka pa lang sa channel na ito, huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Science 10. For today's video, we're going to discuss about Science 10, Quarter 4, Module 1.1. So this is a continuation of our topic about Boyle's Law. So medyo late ko na nga lang ito na-upload, but here we go. So in this topic, we are going to discuss about the Charles' Law. And of course, after going through this lesson vlog, you are expected to attain and seek the following objectives. Number 1 is to investigate the relationship between the volume and the temperature at constant pressure of a gas. Second objective is to solve problems involving changes in the condition of the gas using the equation for Charles' law. And number 3, give application of Charles' law in real-life situations. In our previous vlog about the Boyle's law, so we can recall that the Boyle's law depends on the temperature of the system remaining constant. So, but suppose the temperature changes, how does a change in temperature affect the volume of a gas? So, let us find out in this lesson vlog. Most of the time, you have observed the following phenomena which are real-life example of Charles' law. Baka hindi nyo lang napapansin sa araw-araw na ito na pala ang application ng Charles' law. So may mga bagay tayong ginagawa, may mga objects tayong nakikita na, oh, this is an example of Charles' law. So number 1, so pagkatapos nyong palubuhin, di ba? Kung after nyong i-inflate yung pool float, and push it into the pool, so it seems a bit underinflated. So that's 1. Another 1. So a basketball when left outside on a cold night. So ano nangyayari dun sa sa basketball ninyo? So 'di ba para siyang nag-shrink. So para siyang lumalambot kapag siya ay nalalamigan. So warning signs on a bottle of a deodorant indicating the bottle to be kept away from the sunlight and high temperature, and of course working of the hot air balloon. Okay, those are some examples of the Charles' law. Do you know who was the scientist behind this Charles' law? Are you familiar with that scientist? Of course, from the word itself, Charles' law. So nagsimula din ito sa, syempre, ang pangalan din niya ay Charles. Alright, what I mean is the surname of the scientist. Okay, so this is Jacques Charles. So in 1787, so this French inventor Jacques Charles, so while he is investigating the inflation of his manned hydrogen balloon, na-discover niya na yung volume ng gas ay nagbabago directly with the temperature. So, pag nagbabago daw yung temperature, nababago din yung volume ng gas. So, dito na-investigate ni Jacques Charles yung tungkol sa Charles' law. So, ano bang meron sa Charles' law? So, Charles' law states that the volume of a given mass of gas varies directly with the absolute temperature of the gas when pressure is kept constant. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, pare-parehas lang yung pressure, pero pag nabago ang temperature, nababago din daw ang volume ng gas. So when it comes to Charles, so we are talking about the volume and the temperature. What is the relationship between the temperature and the volume? Alright, so the temperature are conventionally measured in Kelvin, alright, which is the SI unit of temperature. Alright, so since the volume of gas decreases with falling temperature, so the scientists realized that a natural zero point of the temperature could be defined as the temperature at which the volume of a gas theoretically becomes zero. So in short, the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the temperature. Pag tumaas yung temperature, tataas din ang volume ng gas. While, kapag bumaba ang temperature, bumababa din yung volume ng gas. Di ba yung example natin kanina, na kapag daw yung balloon, kung kapag daw yung basketball nilagay mo sa kapag malamig yung panahon, let's say for example, winter, so ano nangyayari? Nagsishrink siya. So para bang nababawasan yung pagkaka-inflate ng balloon. Diba? So that is the example of Charles' law. Tingnan nyo ang hot air balloon. Bakit siya lumulobo? Yung as in, kaya niyang paliparin ang isang bagay. Kapag, di ba sa ang hot air balloon, umakyat siya pataas. So, ano ba ang meron sa hot air balloon? Kaya, hot air balloon. So, di ba, kinakailangan niyo ng fire doon para mag-inflate yung balloon. So, once na tinanggal mo yung hot or yung flame na mainit, so lalamig, so mag-shrink na ngayon yung balloon. So, ibig sabihin, again, in Charles' law, the volume of the gas is always it is always directly proportional to the temperature. Pagtaas ng temperature, tataas ang volume. Pagbaba ng volume, pagbaba ng temperature, bababa din ang volume. Okay, so always remember that the absolute temperature scale was devised by the English physicist Kelvin. Alright, so temperatures on this scale are called Kelvin or letter K. Okay, this is the unit for temperature. So the Kelvin scale must be used because zero on the Kelvin scale corresponds to a complete stoppage of molecular motion. Alright, so Charles' law states that for a fixed amount of an ideal gas, its volume is directly proportional to its temperature at constant pressure. O, diba? Ulit-ulit ko sinasabi sa inyo. So, para ma-memorize nyo that the volume is always directly proportional to the temperature. Mathematically, the direct relationship to Charles' law can be represented by this equation. Ayan. Alright, so to remove the proportionality H sign, our constant K is introduced like this. Then, K will be volume divided by the temperature. Alright, so if the same gas is brought to different temperatures, so it will give you two different volumes, and the equation will be, alright, so this one, V1 over T1 is equal to V2 over T2. It means T1 is the initial temperature of the gas, V1 is the initial volume of the gas, T2 is the final temperature of the gas, and the V2 is the final volume of the gas. Alright, so always remember that any unit of volume may be used. Alright, it can be liter, milliliter, alright, provided that the unit of volume and V1 and V2 are the same. So, dapat syempre kung ang V1 mo ay naka-liter, dapat yung V2 mo is naka-liter din. So, kung naka-milliliter, dapat milliliter. Dapat same lagi siya. Parallel. Hindi pwedeng gumamit ka ng V1 na naka-ml, tapos yung V2 mo ay naka-liter naman. So, hindi tayo magtatagpo. Dapat laging same. So, however, only Kelvin scale may be used for the temperature. And the absolute temperature is temperature measured with the Kelvin scale. So, we will be using the Kelvin as the unit of temperature. Alright, so let's now have, let's solve the following problems. Alright, so for number 1, okay, so for number 1 question, a balloon is filled to a volume of 2.2 liters at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. The balloon is then heated to a temperature of 51.0 degrees Celsius. So find the new volume of the balloon. Alright, so if in the problem, ang given sa temperature is degrees Celsius, dahil ang sabi sa atin ay we must convert it to Kelvin as the scale of temperature. So always remember that to convert degrees Celsius to Kelvin, so we just have to add 273 Kelvin. For number 1, so we have here the given. So the given for this is volume 1 is 2.2 liters, and we have temperature 1 of 25.0 degrees Celsius. Of course, we have to convert it to Kelvin, so plus 273. So it will be, alright, so it will be 298 Kelvin. And for volume 2, we have, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have volume 2, but we have temperature 2, which is 51 degrees Celsius. And of course, we will convert it to Kelvin. So to convert it with Kelvin, 200 plus 273. And we have 7 plus 5 is 12. So 324 Kelvin. So ang hinahanap natin is we are looking for the volume 2. Find the new volume of the given balloon. So volume 2 ang hinahanap natin. Alright, so our equation is V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. Alright, to find the V2, of course, we will use the cross multiplication. So, cross multiply lang natin yan, and then we have V2 times T1 equals V1 times T2. Okay? So, and then, of course, we are looking for V2. So, we will divide both sides by T1. So, we can cancel this one. And then, we have our new formula, which is V2 equals V1 times T2 over T1. So, to solve, V2 equals, ang hinahanap ay V1. So, our V1 is 2.2 liters multiplied to T2, which is 324 Kelvin, divided by our T1, which is 298 Kelvin. Of course, so we will multiply this one. 2.2. Okay, so okay, 2.2 liters times 324. Okay, so cancel na natin to. So we have 712.8 liters divided by 298. So our answer will be, okay, our volume 2 will be 2.39 liters. Alright. Okay, so this is our answer. Alright, so I hope you get it. Let us have question number 2. A gas has an initial volume of 3,480 milliliter and an initial temperature of negative 70.0 degrees Celsius. What must be the temperature of the gas in Kelvin if its volume is reduced to 2,450 milliliters? So, let's solve this. Right, for our given, we have the initial volume of 3,480 milliliter. And our initial temperature is negative 70.0 degrees Celsius. And of course, we have to convert it to Kelvin. So, negative 70 plus 273 will be, okay, so this will be 203 Kelvin. And then our volume 2 is 2,450 milliliter. Alright, and since these are both in milliliter and since they are the same, so no need to convert it to another unit. And of course, we are looking for the temperature of the gas in Kelvin. Alright, and since we already converted it to Kelvin, so it will be easier for us to get the temperature. Alright, so let us have our equation. So, nagsimula ulit tayo sa equation na V1 over T1 equals V2 over T2. So, let us also again cross multiply. Okay, so cross multiply, and since we're looking for the temperature, Okay, so that's the T2. We're looking for the T2. So V1 times T2 equals V2 times T1. So divide both sides by V1 so that we can get the temperature 2. And of course, this will be T2 equals V2 times T1 over V1. Okay? Now, alright, so let us get the solution now. So our V2 is 2,450 ml multiplied to T1, which is 203 Kelvin. Divide both sides by ml, or the V1, which is 3,480 ml. So we can now cancel those two, which is, they are having the same, right? So 203 times 2450, so we have here 497 350,000. So that will be in Kelvin divided by 3,480. Right, so this will be, so our T2 will be 142.92 Kelvin. So this is our T2. Okay? So the technique only here is we will just follow this formula, and then whatever is being required, let's say for example this is T2, since we already have T1 and then T2 naman ang hinahanap. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, cross-multiply nyo lang. So, always remember that it's important na whatever you're looking for, it must be put in the left side. Alright? So, since T2 yung hinahanap natin, so cross-multiply, and since nandito yung T2, so kaya siya ay V1 times T2. And then, equals sa other side, V2 times T1. And then, since ito na yung panibago nating formula, hinahanap ay T2. So, para matira yung T2, kailangan mong eliminate yung V1. To eliminate V1, you have to divide both sides by V1 so that we can cancel here V1 and V1, matitira si T2, and then on the other side we have V2 times T1 divided by V1. Okay, and then you substitute all the given. So V2, that's 2,450 multiplied to 203 divided by 3,480, which is the V1, which is here, and then divide both sides. Divide. After you multiply those numbers on top, you divide it with the number on below, which is 3,480, and then we end up with 142.92 Kelvin. So that's it. Alright, so this is the end of our lesson about the Charles law. Thank you again for listening on our lesson vlog. Thank you for watching. So if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Science 10. So after this lesson, I'll be giving you reviewer about the Charles law and the Boyle's law, para rin reviewer nyo para sa nalalapit na exam ngayong 4th quarter. So I'm sorry if I was not able to vlog for other topics. So after this, at nagawa ko yung reviewer ninyo, so I'll try to make another lesson vlog about the next topic, which is the chemical reaction. Alright, so this is the end of our lesson vlog. Thank you again for listening. So if you have any suggestion about the topics that we need to discuss, so just leave your comment below and babasahin ko naman yan. So shout out to all my students who are still listening and watching this lesson vlog. So this is me once again, Teacher Tin, your science teacher for today. Bye!